Hey everyone, it's Nick Karadza here, and we're back. I don't know if we're back with the little bobbleheads. We've missed the bobbleheads for a while. This was the one we got of Tom. So I don't know, it doesn't bobble too much, but we ordered one of Tom just as a joke. I think it looks like him. A couple other people from a distance think it looks like him, but not up close. But anyways, that's for another time. You know what? Something I just wanted to talk about today quickly was that I was looking through the paper today, and something really struck me. It's an unusual piece of real estate. And what it is, it's the Ambassador Bridge. And the Ambassador Bridge actually joins Windsor and Toronto. And the federal government is interested in buying this bridge. I'll give you, this is from the National Post. That's kind of the picture of it. That's the that's the Ambassador Bridge. It actually carries, what did it say, 1/4 of all trade merchandise between Canada and the United States. This is a pretty busy bridge. Now, the Canadian government, why are they looking at buying this bridge? What are the benefits, and why would they take a large chunk of money and buy a bridge? But it goes back to the core principle of successful investing, and the bridge produces cash flow. It actually produces $60 million a year in cash flow from the tolls going back and forth. Right now it's owned by an American billionaire, and he's looking at selling it. His valuation is much higher than what the Canadian government is willing to pay him for the property. Property, I'm used to saying it, for the bridge. But what the Canadian government is saying is, hey, listen, there's approval for a new transportation route already. And when that new transportation route or that new crossing is built, it's going to take cash flow away from the Ambassador Bridge. So your valuation doesn't make sense, because if it's making $60 million a year now, that might chop it to $40 million. So, we can't justify your purchase price. Right? It's very similar to the TV show called Dragon's Den or Shark's Tank. If you guys haven't watched it, awesome business lessons at those shows. Go and watch them. But what they talk about is, like, people come in and value their business at like $1 million, and they've sold $1,000 worth of product, and they're like, well, how can you say your business is worth $1 million if the cash flow going through it is $1,000? Doesn't make sense. There's no way. Right? So the Canadian government's going saying, hey, listen, if it's making $60 million now, that. All right, sorry about that little break. Actually, the batteries on the little digital camera that I use actually died, so we're doing like a part 2. So I'll try to continue from the same place. But here's where I was, and it was about the Canadian government offering less money for the bridge than what the seller wanted. And what was happening is the cash flow on that property is going to change, or on that bridge. If there's a secondary route opening up, and you're basing the purchase price off $60 million of cash flow, but the cash flow is going to change because there's another crossing coming up and it's going to go down to $40 million, then who's going to pay $60 million for the property? It's like if you have an apartment building and it's fully tenanted, but there's no extra demand for extra units, and there's a brand new one opening up next door. So there's a fully housed apartment building, but there's no more demand. There's no waiting list, and the community cannot support any more units. There's no other tenants in the whole area, and there's a second building opening up. Then some of those tenants are going to go to that second building, and the value of the first building that was full is going to drop because it's not going to be full anymore. So if you have the foresight in that, it's something to look at, because you know that the cash flow is going to be affected. So it doesn't matter if we're talking about a single family home, if we're talking about a condo or a townhouse, it doesn't matter. It all comes back to cash flow. We'll see what the Canadian government does for this one. The Ambassador Bridge, it'll be fun to see. I've always wondered, it's actually curious, because I wondered who owns the different bridges. Tom and I, our last trip to Orlando, we were talking about it, saying, who owns this and who maintains it? Which country is it? And you see the UN flag, so you don't know who's involved in it. But it's a private person right now. It may go to the government, and we'll see how this plays out. I certainly hope that they get it for less than the billions that that the seller wants, because since it's our tax money, we want a deal, right? So that's it for this time. Remember, it doesn't matter what you're investing in; it's cash flow that you're looking for, control over your investments, and we've touched on control before. We'll get into that one again, and that's it for this time. So until next time, your life on your terms. Take care, everyone.